And so I should be starting with a game that I played on Lines of Battle Diplomacy server. Let me pull up the map real quick. This is the current world map. I am playing as a General of France, and we had a battle against Austria all the way down in Tuscany, right over here. And so I had to get there and fight a battle against the Austrian general. And because they're actually like very close in elo rating, I believe that we got a very interesting fight. He had a little more infantry, while I had one extra artillery, and I wanted to show how I was able to turn that asymmetry into my advantage in the battle. So if I just pull the battle up and start the replay, I will try to show it real quick how the terrain looked like. So first of all, we had a center hill in the middle, and I was a bit closer to it, so my initial thought was to try to capture it with my artillery and then to blow him to pieces with my superiorly positioned artillery. However, as I will show it now, his cavalry was actually moving so fast that I have realized that he would get there before my artillery would, and that would be a very bad position for me because I have committed my cavalry on the flanks. Now maybe if I was to keep him at the center, I could have avoided this and captured the hill, but because I didn't, now I have to deal with the consequences. Those being that I have to opt out for a safer option of pulling back to the end of this valley where I am kinda safe from the enemy. But obviously it wasn't good for me to just like stay over here either, because my artillery cannot really shoot up on like these steep angles. These are too steep for the artillery, and even if they can shoot up over there, the enemy could just hide behind this hill ridge line kinda, and I would only be able to like shoot at them at the last possible second. And you know, the point of the artillery is to be able to control the battle from afar and not from shooting distance, like melee distance. So yeah, he will continue pulling in his cavalry and I will start making my own threats. So because I have perhaps mistakenly committed more on the flanks rather than in the center, now I'm trying to take some advantage of that by mounting up the pressure on him on the flanks. You will see that my left cavalry will try to charge into this valley, approaching the cannons, while this one will just try to like maneuver behind them. Scare them a bit. But as you see, that was a mistake from me once again, because now my cavalry was exposed to artillery fire. I could have also went behind this hill ridge, but I was afraid that I would get there too late to make a difference in the initial moves, and that was kinda my idea at first. In the meanwhile, you can see how I reposition my artillery, and also how his cavalry just seems to be straight up charging at my artillery. But one thing about his movement that I noticed is that instead of just like being pinpointed at my units, he seems to be just vaguely following me. And basically from that I know that he's not on seek order, he's just a move order. So if I was to make something arbitrary, he probably wouldn't be able to like predict my move. So over here I will make this arbitrary move, kinda spearheading for his artillery, which would work out pretty nicely. As you can see, he has no garrison in the nearby. The only infantry is quite far away, and so I will follow up on this plan. However, the forest is not a good terrain for the cavalry. I couldn't get to his artillery in time basically. Look, now he's already firing at me, and now he had the garrisons ready. At this point I should have just pulled back and accepted defeat. I mean, not in the battle, but just in this engagement. But I didn't. I straight up charged at him anyways. I managed to damage one of his artillery, but then my cavalry died. and this will have the same fate. It's also down. In the down here we have my cavalry being chased by his cavalry, and now his 2 cavalry is going to basically slaughter my cavalry that is trying to escape and later regroup. And seeing this, I basically have only one option, and that is to like shoot the shit out of those cavalrymen that are like charging at me, so that maybe they would stop, or at the very least I could take some casualties on them. And that is what we will see. He did manage to kill my unit completely, but he did lose some men in the meanwhile. And so now he tries to capture the central hill that I failed to take earlier, to try to like engage me in a cannon battle, I mean. However, as you see, I still have 4 cannons against his 1 cannon, and so he will be forced to pull back. And his second now, there we go. He's pulling back. I also regained my other cavalry that is still alive. And so yeah, at this point I still have my artillery advantage, which comes in very handy. But now I'm outnumbered both on the infantry, how do you say it, frontier, whatever, and also in the cavalry numbers. So now I will try to moderately play on my artillery advantage by kind of stalling, making him engage in these long fights that are making him stand up against me in positions where I could utilize my cannon advantage. We will see it later on. Look, I found that one of his units is vulnerable to like cannon fire, and so I started dealing damage to him. He then realized it and then he like pulled back eventually. And so yeah, I have this very damaged cavalry corps, but so now I will still try to make some use of them. So I will try to get them down this ridge, but then I will see how strong of an army he brings, and I will decide, and I had decided to like turn around my weaker cavalry unit that is like further behind. And also, since he has abandoned the center, I wanted to scare him by pretending to have the intentions of capturing the hill. So I have actually moved forward over here, then he got scared and then he like moved into like a shield formation. And he will also turn his cannons around in a bit to shoot at my infantry. There we go. But then I pulled back, as you can see, because taking this hill would be a terrible idea. Just look at his cannon positioning. He could shoot straight through my lines, damaging almost all of my visible units if I let him to do so. So I just pulled back. And in fact, I will even try to commit my cannons further, pulling my infantry further back into safety and just wear him down in a cannon battle. In the meanwhile, you will see my last cavalry getting chased while the other one is returning home safely. And there you go, my infantry is getting repositioned to a safe position while my cannons are wearing the enemy down. And look at that, James Bond escape. My cavalry is now safe. The enemy is still chasing after him. And now the enemy, desperate to break the stalemate, not only tries to commit further on the artillery battle, but now he also tries to like challenge me on the right flank. So we will see, actually I will zoom out so we can see the whole battle site. Now we can see him trying to line up for the battle of the right flank, and there you go, he also abandoned the chase after my hussar. So now I will take this cavalry unit and actually enjoy life. I don't know what I will do with it. I think I will turn around and then I will try to like assault his cannons actually, yeah. But so now he just desperately wants to get this cavalry on the site of the battle on the right flank to make a difference in time, but I don't want to let him have that time and luxury. So basically I engage him purposefully, and then I will also use a mechanic, actually it's like a tactic, called micro damaging. It's basically people maxing out on the damage that they deal on the enemy. I will talk about it later on. And it works out very well because you can see that despite us having equal numbers in this 4 against 4 engagement, I am dealing massively more damage on him. Like there you go, and his units are almost gone. In the meanwhile, we are still heading for the artillery. Alright. And look, now because he's weakened, I am charging to fully commit my infantry, because now my goal is to not let him fall back, regain his org, and then try again with more support. I want to destroy his infantry before they reunite with their cavalry. And so I will charge forth right at them, and I will destroy some of these units in the first turn, and then he will see how the battle on the right is lost, and he will just turn around with their cavalry. And now let's watch out for my cavalry over here. He actually turned around both of his cannons to face my single cavalry unit. But I managed to like find a good hiding spot. And at the very same time, I want to be able to keep shooting at his cavalry over here, but he also found a great hiding spot. So now I'm trying to gain more elevation by going up further north with this artillery up the hills. And then I will try to be shooting at his cavalry from over there. I will also pull these infantry back together, because if I was to not pay attention, then he could technically get a kill or two if he plays well enough. So I will just pull them together and then pull back eventually. In the meanwhile, I'm just trying to juke him out, making him commit to moves, and then trying to surprise him by a surprise charge sometimes. So look, I will go there, then I will fall back, and everything goes back to normal. So I will try it again right now. He actually managed to like predict my move, and so our arms actually crash over here, and I managed to destroy his infantry unit. But then you shall see that while trying to escape, I get destroyed by the remaining garrison units, and so his cannons survived by a hair. He actually got one of his artillery over here in the meanwhile, all the way from over here. And now he seeks to get the other ones closer to it as well. And at this point he starts to get rather desperate, because his time is running out, and because I am the defender in this battle, that means that he has to win the battle. If we stalemate, if the time runs out, then I win automatically. So he will try to create some more threats on me. Also, he's just like treating my cavalry terribly. So now as he's mounting his cavalry closer to my cannons, I try to make sure that I garrison them perfectly. I try not to leave any possibilities for missing out a spot on my garrisoning. So I just try keeping my position close together. Then I see him charge, so I kinda charge straight at him, trying to cover my artillery as best as possible. And then comes further threat on the right side. I just pull my infantry back, garrisoning the troops forth, trying to box him in. And there that works, and even though that he breaks one of my infantrymen, I will still manage to save my cannons by reacting quick enough and by having a great position to start with. And so there we go. I wasn't to commit any further with my infantry. I would have pulled back after this, but then he resigned, so now it's fine for anyway. As you can see, this battle lasted almost an hour. We were on turn 56 out of 60, so we were only like 4 turns away from total victory, but he actually pulled back and the battle was won. Also, I have heard something very interesting. So basically, I have heard someone accusing ECU, the #1 player in the game, of having an alt account to just like play games with some randoms, and that account was called Totally Not ECU. But then ECU replied, and he said that he only has 2 alt accounts and they are the top 2 players. And so I went over to check ranking, and then I've seen that the number 1 player is ECU. The number 1 player is called Little ECU. And they are the only ones above 2000 Elo. The rest of them is way below them. I haven't really realized until now that the difference between ECU and the actual second best player is 200 Elo. And by the way, the way that the Elo system works is that if you don't have strong enough opponents, then you cannot get high enough on the scoring. So maybe ECU is even more crazier, but because the rest of us are just not destined to be the most amazing players ever, ECU is stuck at 2100 because that's the best that he can get right now. And you know, someone called this unfair that, you know, 1 player can take up the top 2 spots, but come on, he's ECU, he's the number 1 player, whatever. And so right now, I think that I will just continue a little bit with some live battle analysis, because last time I couldn't get an endgame, and so now I will try to get one that lasts until the endgame. So first of all, I will go into my settings, turn smart curve movements on. This will help us optimize our movement. And then I will also go into graphics and set some very fun color to myself and for the enemy. I think I might play as red, and the enemy should be... I could make him red also, but I think I will make him blue for now. Actually, that's like way too standard. I will just make him yellow. Oh, yes! Alright, we have a game for ourselves, and let's look at the enemy. 2 standard artillery, some standard cavalry. Alright, I think I will deploy my cannons like this, trying to take advantage of this hill. Now I will very quickly also split up my infantry into more thinner, more looser, like a loose line, alright, a loose line for my infantry, and I will have my cavalry on the 2 flanks. My victory point should get moved back to the very back, and this seems to be just fine actually. Yep, I will submit my orders. I think I played against him today already, but I might be wrong. So he's trying very hard to improve his levels probably. Unfortunately, I don't plan on letting him. Also, what is this very weird pet pattern? Whatever. What really matters is that we have to defeat him, and I think that we are doing alright for now. I don't plan on moving enough units on the back. I just end our turn, and the enemy also wants to stay in place, it seems like, which is fine. If you think you have a strong position, it is absolutely fine to just wait for the enemy to like make a bad move. And in this case, I'm going to start catching up with my infantry, because I feel like that as soon as I get closer with my Hobbitson, he might want to use the forest as like cover to ambush me, or to even just charge straight at me even through the plains or whatever. He might try some stuff. Alright, well, he seems to be interested in trying to defeat me in detail. However, I don't really want that to happen. So I will try to not let him do that. I will continue with my advance. I will end my turn. His garrisoning is not that great, also his camp positioning is kinda awkward. I'm not sure why would he do that, but we are going to abuse any mistakes that he makes, including this one. He does not need all 6 of his cavalry to deal with these 2 cavalry threat. It just buys me time to actually move my other cavalry unit closer to his ranks. And now we are about to get into a right distance. Just for good measures I want to get a bit closer, because then I will be able to deal more damage. Basically how artillery works is that even while you have this long range, medium range and short range, you still deal more damage if you are closer, if the enemy is like closer to you in this long range than if it was at the other end of the long range. So while there is a specific range modifier applied to each range, it still matters how far away you are from the artillery itself within that range. Now I will leave that forest and I will keep catching up to my other units, my cannons. Over here my artillery is maybe too close, I'm not sure, but he might be able to damage both of them in a single turn. I could fix it, but there is no need because he's not using that. Alright. In the meanwhile, we are kinda doing good at weakening his artillery. And now I shall also move my own cavalry closer. I will try to fall back with my guards just in case if we try to like attack with his strong and scary cavalry. And in the next few turns we are going to try to disarm his artillery, and once we have a very straight and obvious artillery advantage, we will try to either wear down their cavalry or their infantry, we will see. But look, I'm just a little bit too far away to be able to damage his artillery, so I'm considering just moving closer to it. I guess I will just move closer to it, but like not directly close. Either this, or I could also move my cavalry up north, trying to juke him into deploying his garrisons maybe, I don't know. I guess I will juke him out, just because me juking him out also buys me time to win the artillery battle anyways. Although he is not that worried about his own artillery, it seems like. He would like to see it die, in fact, probably. But whatever, I'm going to follow up on my original commitment and I will continue going up north. And as you can see, his artillery is almost destroyed already, while mine are still on pretty good health. Actually, because the right flank is so weak, I think I will reposition some of my units on the right flank. Either this, or I could alternatively also just advance them. But it's safer if I just like move them around. And now I will scare the shit out of him. I hope at least. And now I have to choose between damaging his cavalry. You know what? No. So like only one of my artillery can shoot his cavalry, so that should do that, while the rest should continue wearing down his artillery. In the meanwhile, I will also continue leveling up the threat with my other cavalry battalion. And just like that, our guards are also almost healed up. We are doing great. Now let's see his moves. Well, I will continue moving on the left for sure. I will also continue moving with my redeployed units. But I think that I might be better off with just attacking that already weakened artillery and trying to wear down this artillery. To be honest, I think that he might not know that you can just chase units down with the seek order over here, just because how arbitrary his movements have been. So I will try to take advantage of that by making an arbitrary move that he couldn't really predict. And surely, no, I was kind of wrong, but it kind of worked out in my favor. That is very interesting. Now if I try to like shoot into that blob of cavalry, I can damage all 6 of them at the same time. So I would like to do that in fact. And I will also prepare my garrisons because this is about to get bloody. I will further the deployment and I will also make some further threats on the left as well. If you look at the current like snapshot of the game, we are leading by 3% so far, or 6 victory points. Let's end our turn and let's watch what moves we made. Alright, now the artillery are about to be in danger. So I will move in with my garrisons. I have to make sure that I don't really leave any gaps in my line that he could like go through, because that can really bite in later. I shall try to like turn around and then take out the other artillery as well. If he lets me, I will definitely do that in fact. I will try to bite into that infantry just as a prank, and this looks fine-ish. Alright. Now we are going to take advantage of some micro orders. What I mean by this is like when you shoot with your infantry, you actually damage all units equally that you hit. So if I place my firing order over here, then I should damage most of the cavalry. There we go. That's actually like all of them. And now I will also further move in with my other units as well. Our prank was successful. He did not expect that arbitrary move. I mean, it is arbitrary for him, it wouldn't be for me, but we already kinda learned his ways. And now I will just try to maintain a good deployment. Let's see what moves he made. We try to commit on that full out cavalry charge. That is not a good idea, I don't think so. And surely enough, he seems to have lost most of his cavalry units. The ones alive are also pretty damn worn down. Plus, I now have a straight shot on his cannons. Like that. I can even try to... Oh look, so because I have pranked him earlier, now he's wary of the threat. Now he has learned how it hurts to get stung by an artillery. I mean by a cavalry. And so now he tries to respond against it. So now I will actually try to like juke this one out as well. And I will stay there, I guess. There we go, some more damage. Now let's fall back over there as well. And there we go, the last cavalry is on like 1 HP or so. And now I will use this opportunity to kinda march forth with my army and destroy the right flank where he happens to keep all of his cannons. I will fall back just a step further in case he tried any funny business on me, and we look kinda fine for now. Alright, let's see the new moves. He tried to turn around and fall back, that is a good move, but it was too late because I am already gone. And in the meanwhile, our freshly deployed army, I mean our freshly mobilized army, is ready to take some land, I guess, some kills maybe, I don't know. It's ready to conquer, that's what I meant. We will shoot with our artillery in a way that we would damage 3 of these units. All 3 of them. And in this turn, they are getting more worn down, we are capturing their victory point. Everything seems to be going just fine. He's even kind of blocking his own artillery's path. as a bonus. Now I will go over there and flank on his artillery. I will continue to be shooting at that position, trying to weaken down his infantry. This looks nice. There we go. And I will take that free cannons, that free artillery unit, any time of the day. I might want to move closer with my artillery because now I'm kinda too far away from the fighting. But look, most of his army is literally just deployed to watch out for a single horseman. You should never do this. This will not lead to any victory, it will not contribute to the fight if you're not involving them in the battle. We're also slowly killing his artillery. And his cannons are gone. Now I can fall back with my horsemen once again. And I will take some good positions. So the next phase of this battle will be me assaulting his last remaining flank. If he doesn't resign, that is. So I will start preparing some of my troops on a clash with him. I shall also try to utilize both of my active cavalry units. His only good move in this position would be to fall back with all of these troops to over here, trying to overwhelm me while he has the chance. But he doesn't seem to be doing that, so I guess that I technically could just charge at him over here, commit into a close fight, but I don't really have to risk anything at this point, so I will not do that. Instead, I shall try to regenerate with my horsemen and chill, hold my ground. I'm a bit too close to him, so I will fall back by a step because he can damage me each turn. And when we will capture this, next turn I can move this already then. Or was I wrong? I might have been wrong by one turn. Whatever, it's 99% now. Same thing really. And so now let's keep blowing him into pieces. That's going to be quite easy. And at this point I might as well commit to a close-handed fight. I will also try to flank him and such. So I will continue bearing him down. At this point, when you're already losing so badly, not doing anything will not do anything for you. That's the thing. Also, he captured his victory points, so now he should be taking even further damage. And how about doing another prank on him? I think I might wait a bit longer, just for him to turn around properly. Actually, let's commit to a closer fight. That's not the right move, but I'm winning anyways. There we go. And now I can prank him from behind. I will try to get all the way over to there. Look at this big micro damage. 4 troops. I can't get the 5th one though. Alright, so we will damage 4 troops. 3 over here. 3 over here. 3 over here as well, I believe. Then let's just have him go over there. This one should charge there as well. And let's just move them over there now. The cannon should keep firing into the center of that mess. And this guard should keep moving. We are winning by a really large margin at this point. Remember, cavalry sucks in the forest. So instead I should try to flank him over there. The other one should also get a bit closer. But ultimately, my infantry is already so close to join the fight that my cavalry might not even get there in time. And let's finish him up over here. I don't really need 3 troops for that though, so I will send one of them over. Actually 2 of them over. And this one should keep moving as well. My artillery, I didn't know about them honestly. Let's just not do anything with them for now. Well, when you don't really do anything with them, they will just do things on their own, finding good kills that are not going to backfire for you. Now let's try to fall back a bit because I can't really see which is mine at the moment. And there comes death for him. I don't get why he wants to keep on fighting at this point. because while not surrendering might work out sometimes, but this fight is hopeless. Yeah, he will lose next turn automatically. So if I just like end my turn, in theory I should win. Or maybe not. He went into minus 11 victory points. I think you're supposed to lose when you reach like 0, but I might be wrong here. Also, his infantry is gone. Look, I will just tell them to move forward. There we go. No need to overcomplicate this. We just want to move there. Let's end our final turn. And there we go. Well played.